I was diagnosed with autism a couple of days ago, so let's talk about it while I do my makeup.
The diagnosis came as a surprise to absolutely no one I've ever met, so it wasn't too much of a shock. The entire process took about 3 months and there were quite a few steps involved, so let's go through them. First, there was an initial call which lasted about half an hour, covering some of my background and why I was having an autism assessment. In my case, my psychotherapist advised my psychiatrist to refer me. Even though I've shown pretty obvious signs of neurodivergence my entire life, I'm not sure I would have actually gone for an assessment unless I'd been referred. The next step was a lengthy questionnaire that my chosen informant had to complete, which is essentially someone close to me. Then I had a meeting with a neurodevelopmental practitioner nurse which lasted about 2 hours, and it was possibly the most draining experience of my life. We covered mental and physical health, mood and affect, historic and current support, birth and infancy, early developmental milestones, environmental influences and complexities, social and emotional strengths and weaknesses, nonverbal communication, relationships, repetitive behaviours and interests, sensory profile, cognitive development, behaviour, academic history and employment history. Then I had a 2.5-hour autism observational assessment with a neurodevelopmental speech and language therapist. This was more activity based, so for example I was shown a series of pictures and I had to tell a story about them. I really struggled with this one because I kept obsessing over if I'm acting too autistic deliberately or if I'm deliberately not acting autistic enough. Then I went on a tangent about Jigglypuff and then I forgot whether or not I actually gesticulate usually during stories and if I should flap my arms around. Anyway, I'm autistic.